Hi everyone, welcome. FPL Matt Day here, and I wanted to do a 10-minute video just explaining the new rules that have come out in the last 24 hours for the World Cup Fantasy 2022 game. Obviously, this is just on the back of the podcast that I did last night with at D10 Football and Quinton from the FPL Amateurs of Oz, where we previewed the whole of match week one. And since then, obviously, I went through the rules on there. There's been a bunch of new changes. So I wanted to share the screen tonight and go through those rules so everyone that's involved in my mini leagues and playing the game in general knows what's going on. It's an absolute mess at the moment. The app is crashing. It's hard to use. Not all of the squads are updated. You use chips like the 12th man, and once you use it, you can't turn it back. Even though we're still in the unlimited transfers phase. So it is all an absolute mess at the moment. But look, I'm here to help. I'm going to go through all the rules, and hopefully it can help everyone out in getting good scores and enjoying the game as much as they can. Before I start and share the screen, if you can please hit the like button, get your comments in as well. I'll come back and reply to all of the comments and help out where I can. And also hit the subscribe button as well. So if you like what you see, hit that button, hit the notifications as well. There's going to be plenty of World Cup content, watch-alongs, fantasy streams throughout this World Cup. So let's get into it. Let's go straight into these rule changes. I still can't believe some of them. It's just, for me, it's just throwing the game into chaos. And not everyone's aware of these rule changes as well, because it was kind of made aware mainly on Twitter, and the rules change within the game. But there's not really been anything to kind of instruct people on this, in terms of an email for when we all sort of signed up. It's kind of just all happened. And it's just all over the place. So I'm going to share the screen just to help everyone out and go through these rules and these rule changes. And I just think it's a little bit too much, these changes. The game is very powerful. There's some very powerful chips. But I'm just going to go through here the key changes since my podcast that I did last night. So as you can see, team creation is still the same. It's still the same budget, still the same formation, still the same in terms of maximum players per nation in each team as well. So no changes there. But we'll zoom in a little here, and we'll go down to what actually has changed. And as you can see here, we've got things here like changing your captain. Now, this is something that has changed. So before, everyone was under the impression that changing your captain was a rolling captain. You could change it each night. That isn't actually the case. You get one chance during the match week to change your captain. So basically what that means is if you captain Harry Kane for England against Iran, which is the second night of the World Cup, doesn't do so well, you want to change your captain, you only get one more chance to change your captain. So if you then change it to Lionel Messi against Saudi Arabia the night after, and he doesn't do well, you can't change it anymore. Regardless if the player's played or hasn't played, you can't then change it, and you can't revert back to Harry Kane as well. So there's that. And also that captain, it's each day as well. So if you have someone in game one, and you play him, and then there's a second game on that day, you can't then change your captain. You've got to wait until the next day of games. That one I don't mind too much. It means you're not changing your captain every single day, but you really get two bites of the cherry. So that's not a bad one. So I don't mind that. So there you go, changing your captain after he is locked. So it does explain it in there as well. And then we've got substitutions. That's the same as what we had gone through before, where you can rotate subs in for players that have played and substitutes that haven't played. So you can't sub on a player that has already played on your bench, gets 15 points. You can't then sub him in for anyone, regardless if the player on your pitch is locked or unlocked. So that's pretty standard. But here's where some of the changes come in that are just pretty crazy. So as you can see here, boosters, wildcard. So this one is so powerful. So it says here, wildcard will allow you to make unlimited transfers within a specific round, cannot be used for the first match of the group stage or the round of 16. So basically, how this is actually going to work is you can hit your wild card on the, for the start of match week 2, as an example. You've hit your wild card, you've got your team all the way for match week 2, but your wild card stays active for the whole of the round. So basically, you can go all the way until the last set of games on that match week, change your squad again, and then that will then become your team for match week 3. So it's not a case of, all right, you have your team right, that's locked in for match week 2. You've got the wild card active, that's fine. Those players are locked day to day. Any player that hasn't played, you can trade out before they play during that match week. So they're unlocked players. But you can just keep changing that team around. So if you change a locked player, a player that's already played, you swap him out. He then won't be able to play till match week 3, but it's effectively like an open wildcard that just continues throughout match week 2. So really, if you've got a player that hasn't played, you can swap him out during that round on the wildcard if he gets injured for another player that hasn't played. If you've got a locked player that's played and you don't like him, you don't want him in your team for match week 3, you can move him on and you can pretty much change your whole team for match week 3 as well. So it's like a double wildcard, a double hit in a way. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It would be like in FPL. You've got your 11 players, you've activated your wild card before the deadline, make all your changes, but then those 11 players play during the game week, and then you start, all those players that played, and you're like, actually, I don't like this squad anymore. And then during that game week, you change all 11 or 15 players because, the majority of them have played. They will then be available the next game week as a wild card. So yeah, crazy stuff. So that's one of the biggest changes. That's the wild card. If you've got any questions about that, just put it down in the comments and I will reply if you don't quite understand. And then we've got the 12th man. As I said on the podcast last night, once you use this, you lock it in. Even now, when it's the unlimited transfers, you can't change it. So you click 12th man and you decide, all right, I'm going to go Neymar. He goes in there, but he gets an injury. Can't change it. So really disappointing, because normally unlimited transfer stage, you should be able to change it. In FPL, you pick your triple captain, and then you get to the end of just before the deadline, you think, actually, I might put it on, someone else instead. It lets you change it, but in this, they lock that one in. So yeah, really crazy. Power captain, that's still the same. You put that on, and then it will go to the person with the most points in your starting 11. But here is another change as well, which is just, I just can't believe this one. So transfer allocation. So you've got pre-tournament unlimited. Yep, we know that. We're on that at the moment. But then match day 1, you get 2 transfers. So basically what this means, if you've got players that haven't yet played in the round or in the match week, and they're injured or they're not going to start, you can then bring 2 players in as transfers to replace them. So you're getting 2 transfers, even though we've just had unlimited transfers. If, say, it's the England game, you've got Trippier, Harry Kane, they've already played, they're locked players, and you're like, look, I don't want these 2 players anymore, and you make your 2 transfers, those 2 transfers will then be activated for match day 2 and not match day 1. Whereas when you're moving on to unlocked players that haven't played, for 2 more unlocked players that haven't played, they will then be able to play in match day 1. So that one I found crazy, because normally you start the unlimited transfers in the pre-tournament, and then that then just becomes your team in match day 1. So yeah, that's just a random rule. Look, if you only make one of those 2 transfers as well during that round, you'll then get be able to bank an extra transfer, so you'll have 3 for match day 2. On the flip side, if you use your wild card for match day 2, you may as well just burn your transfers for match day 1, not use them, because your wild card anyway for match day 2, and then obviously match day 3, still 2 transfers. You can't roll any transfers over to round of 16 because obviously it's unlimited from there. So that is the gist of the new rules. I hope it all makes sense. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. You can head to the rules on the FIFA Plus app or the website. It'll probably divert you to the website. But yeah, it is a little bit all over the place. A lot of people are trying to get their head around this. A lot of people are still deciding, do they want to play this? I'm still playing. So join my mini league. As you can see, the code there at the bottom of the screen, QV9XTNCZ, the FPL Matt Day Global Mini League. Come and join it. It's all fun at the end of the day. And like I said, if you head to the rules as well, it does explain what I've said as well down there, just for you to read as well. So it talks about locked players, unlocked players, transfers involving locked players, match days, that type of thing as well. And the points, they're all the same as what I explained on last night's pod. So if you haven't seen last night's pod, it goes through all of the players game by game. There's chapters on there, so you can find it on my channel as well. But if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit the notification button, get your comments in, and hit the subscribe if you haven't done already. Really appreciate those that have tuned into this video and into the content so far for this World Cup. I'll be back with watch-alongs, myself, Quinton Dunn, at D10 Football, who is in Qatar at the moment. So he's going to bring us some live coverage from Qatar for the podcast. But I've been at FPL Matt Day. Thanks for joining the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you.